I don't know where the heck June went, Clint Pasillas, but here we are, June 30th, the final day of the month. The calendar switches to July tomorrow. We are past the halfway point of the season, the regular season for the Los Angeles Dodgers. 17-10 in June.
Yeah.
Did you like what you saw overall?
Listen, when you end the month with the best record in the National League West, with the best record, tied for the best record in all of baseball, you have to like what you saw. However, I love to nitpick. People think I'm negative, but just pointing out some facts here. Overall, the team regressed a little bit in the month of June. You had some June gloom, if you will. I'm going to put a lot of stats and numbers on the screen. Shout out intern Henry for helping us out with this. We'll lightly glaze or gloss over. That's not glazing. We're glossing over these numbers here. But let's focus on the red there. Again, down to just a little over 5 runs per game when they were closer to 6 runs over the first couple of months of the season. Again, overall offensive production down. You see that the red on Freddie, Mookie, Teo, not very good on the OPS front there. Some big performances. You see Andy Pages, Max Muncy in particular, kept this team afloat, kept this team winning baseball games in the month of June. If you guys want to look through all those numbers, go ahead and pause the scene there. But yeah, I mean, all told, I would not have expected them to come out 17-10 with those kind of numbers, and of course playing better teams and all this kind of stuff. Teams with winning records, you can't ask for much more.
Andy Pages, unbelievable. The OPS is through the roof. You look at a couple of the numbers if you want to throw that screen back up there. I mean, and Freddie will admit that he has been grinding, right? He's been grinding the entire month of June. I mean, Shohei certainly down by Shohei Ohtani standards. Mookie down on the OPS front. Will Smith down on the OPS front. Teo really down on the... I mean, Freddie was like, that's drastic, right?
Yeah.
An OPS over 1,000 from opening day to May 31st, and then in June down to 557 OPS. That being said, this is a team that still has the best record in baseball, tied with the Detroit Tigers. Neither one of those teams are playing today. But the point is, we are still at the top of the division. We are still with the best record in the National League. It's easy to nitpick. But my goodness, if you don't have all of your guys, I mean, imagine when these guys get going again, when the Mookies and the Freddies and the Shoheis get going again. And even by most standards, they're still going, right? They're not going to the level that they want to be going, but I'll take a 17-10 record in June. If you could just stay afloat and be above 500 and continue to kick butt and win every single series up until the All-Star break, I'm fine. Like, I have nothing negative to say about what they did in June.
Yeah, I will happily go like 1 for 15 as a hitter, as long as my team is winning ball games. That's all that matters. Win ball games, give yourself a solid lead in the division, give yourself the best chance to have home field advantage in the postseason. We know they're getting there. Jen said, boy, are we spoiled or what? Well said from Jen there. That's just what we're talking about. But as we wrap up the month of June, I figured we should at least give some loves, give some points, look at some surprises or standouts from the month. I'll lead us off, and I wanted to do one each, but I felt like I couldn't pass up the opportunity to give some love to Justin Wrobleski, who had, this is not my official pick, but had himself a hell of a month of June. Kind of picked up where Ben Kasparius sort of fell off a little bit in June. This team that record would have been much worse if it wasn't for Robo piggybacking off of Shohei Ohtani. So, not Ohtani, sorry, just piggybacking so well, posting us, as you see on the screen there, 2.73 ERA in 5 outings in the month of June. That's huge. That is massive for this ball club.
Well, I think he's been the biggest surprise in terms of that whole cliche of next man in, next man up mentality. Like the guy that's going to have to pick up the slack or do more than he has in the past just because of the injuries to key guys that have gotten the big contracts, guys that have had the names. And Justin Wrobleski's done exactly that. I mean, This is a guy that I wasn't sure what we were going to get from. I've said that before. You've always been high on him. I was like, well, let's see what these guys do in terms of these AAA guys that are going to have to be filling in. Back in the day when we thought, against the Padres, it was going to be like, Dustin May or Wrobleski, and I don't even remember Landon Knack. I don't even remember who the heck started that series against the Padres, but it wasn't the three I anticipated it being. And Robo's done a great job. Mine is also a pitcher, but he's a little bit more well known, and that's Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw with a 2.28 ERA in the month of June, and just 3 strikeouts shy of 3,000 for his career. I mean, his last 3 outings have been unbelievable. We just mentioned the ERA there in the month of June. The guy is going to get 3 strikeouts at home. You're going to be in attendance against the Chicago White Sox, and I don't care what frickin' team it's against. Somebody the other day, I said, oh my goodness, Clayton Kershaw. This was prior to the start against Colorado. He was like, oh yeah, but it's against, when he had the 5 strikeouts. Oh, it's against the Rockies. I don't care, because the majority of the 2,997 that Clayton Kershaw has now are not against the Colorado Rockies. It doesn't matter. It's over the course of his career, over the entire body of work. Appreciate what we are witnessing, and appreciate the fact that it is all in a Dodgers uniform. He is going to make history again at home, in front of the home fans, and whether this is his last year or not, the next stop is Cooperstown. So he is my surprise of the month. 2.28 ERA. I'll take it. Kirsch, let's go.
Yeah, when we're, again, I like to flash back to spring training time, and we're having those conversations. We asked a few guests as well, guest writers, what is this team going to do with Kershaw? Where does he fit in the mix? And now we're looking here in June. It's like, no, this is a guy that, once again, Dodgers desperately need Clayton Edward Kershaw to be good in that starting rotation, and he is doing it. He's playing the stopper when he needs to. He's playing the finisher when he has to. He's been absolutely terrific. Another guy who was terrific for this team in the month of June, we already talked a little bit about him, but you got to talk about Max Muncy, because this team would have been ass without Max Muncy and his 24 runs batted in over the month of June. And of course, we're trying to get him into the All-Star game, and I saw this graphic go up from the guys over at
if this doesn't make you get on your computer and vote, or get on your phone and vote, I don't know what the heck will, because people love to hate Manny Machado, okay? Especially Dodgers fans, and I can understand, so. Manny hasn't really ingratiated himself amongst the Dodger fan base. I get it. But if you look at the overall stats between Muncy and Machado by Eminem and Eminem, this is pretty incredible. I mean, if you look at the WAR, I mean, it's pretty damn close. And Max leads a lot of the category. I mean, there are categories that Manny leads as well. I get it, but this is pretty impressive, right? And this is a guy that Manny came up as a left side of the diamond infielder. Max really didn't. And he's playing a really good third base right now. His defense is improving. Obviously, 2 grand slams in the month of June. And there you have it. Machado has more errors than Muncy. All right. Roy Estrada, 4764. We appreciate that. I hope if you are in the service, sir, thank you for your service. But, whatever. I'm saying, let's get Max to the All-Star game. Will Smith better frickin' be there as a starter. Let's get Max to the All-Star game. He certainly deserves it. Yeah,
Phase 2 opened today. I think it's today, runs through Wednesday. And fans, you got to do it again. Obviously, Dodgers fans can do something really, really funny and vote like most of the team in as starters. I don't like that. I would rather see equal representation. Definitely Will Smith.
I think if you deserve it, you should be there. I mean, I think you look at and again, I understand it's a popularity contest. I get it. Remember when JT was one of those, the final 5, and the world was like going nuts, and we were all campaigning for him. But I also thought Justin deserved it. And yes, I'm a Dodger fan and all those things, and I was working for the team at the time. But JT deserves it. And I remember when Alex Wood, got to finally go in as a starter, and he deserved it. So if you believe that Max Muncy has the numbers and has been one of the Dodgers MVPs in the first half of the season, please vote. He deserves to be there. He's had tremendous amount of production and a lot of success this year. And to your point, Clint, we wouldn't be where we are 17-10 in June without Max.
Not even slightly. So there's a month of June. I think we can start looking forward to what hopefully is a fun, exciting, spicy month of July. First, though, we should hear from our friends at Foul Territory. Then we'll
Jeremy Meyer front end. That's funny. All right, storylines to watch, Clint, going into the second half of play. The first thing is, how do you think left field will play out?
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be storyline number 1 we're watching here in July. It's the same boring thing we've talked about ad nauseum over the last couple of weeks, couple of months. How will left field, center field, second base, how will that shake out when it comes to Michael Conforto being a starter? Ha-Seong Kim has more than earned his opportunity to be in there just about every day. We're hearing now Tommy Edman is healthy enough to start playing some outfield, so maybe things shake out a little bit. But if we're looking at those numbers, going back to the last segment, looking at those numbers and the offense kind of trending downward, if there are spots to fill in the gaps a little bit in the lineup when it comes to offense, it's the production that they've got out of left field. So we need to see this team, who's going to step up. And if somebody doesn't step up, is that a space? Is that a hole to fill via the trade deadline? So that's storyline, like probably I don't know if it's the biggest one. Is that the biggest one? Or is starting pitching bigger?
I mean, I think it's always starting pitching because you don't know what you're going to get when those guys are coming back. But before we get to that category, I think what it also means in terms of the outfield questions and the infield questions is, does that give Ha-Seong Kim more of a runway? And then does that give Michael Conforto less of an opportunity? I mean, I think that's a big question too. It's like everybody keeps clamoring that they want Kim to play more, and he's earned that right. But that also means less playing time for Conforto. So again, this goes back to my question that I had a few weeks ago. It's like, is he just a guy on the bench, against righties, or is he a guy that you have later in the game as a defensive replacement, in the outfield, or is this a guy that you say, I appreciate it, we wish it would have worked out a little bit better, but unfortunately, we're going to have to DFA you or move you to get a guy that can give us more production. I mean, the Dodgers, all they care about is winning, as they should. So again, it's not a try hard league. And I know that Michael Conforto is a great dude, but if he's not getting it done and you're just kind of laws of attrition, you're running out of room, you're running out of time.
Yeah. Conforto has somewhere around 230 at bats now, 225 at bats, something like that. I think we kind of have a feeling, even we keep hearing they found maybe a little bit of something with the swing. I don't know that I'm all the way bought in on that quite yet, because he posted an offer in Kansas City where there's a lot of grass for him to work with. But I don't know that they pull the plug entirely on the Conforto experiment. I could see them still leaving him on the bench unless there's a way, somebody who wants to trade for a veteran or whatever. But I think you're going to start to finally see that playing time dynamic change that Dave promised us about a week and change ago. You're going to see more Ha-Seong Kim in the lineup, which is good. And then you're going to see Conforto on the bench, and maybe he finds a role there. And then, he has a one and done in LA. Thank you for stopping by. Here's your ring sort of thing. Denny Cortez